All right, welcome to the Ultimate Valuation Board. Consider this explainer your Silicon Valley exam pitch competition. I'm going to be your managing director today, and we are stepping into the high-stakes boardroom to decode Cambridge AS and A-level mathematics, specifically topic 3.9, complex numbers, and the absolutely critical principle that non-real roots occur in conjugate pairs. But listen, we aren't just here to do some casual math today. We are executing a full, aggressive examiner's audit. Imagine a live grade valuation meter tracking your every move, mapping your baseline answers all the way up to that top-tier million-dollar A-star marking band. We're going to look at exactly what Cambridge examiners, essentially your venture capital investors, are aggressively searching for when they grade your papers so you can lock in those top-tier marks and scale your grade portfolio to the absolute maximum.
Okay, let's dive right into this market opportunity. Look at this quote directly from the board. Most students lose easy marks on 3.9 complex numbers. Non-real roots occur in conjugate pairs, but after this, you won't be one of them. You know, it is genuinely heartbreaking to see students who understand the technical math completely drop easy valuation points just because they don't know how to pitch their answers to the examiner. I see this all the time. It's like watching two totally different startup founders fail a pitch. You've got founder number one, let's call him Alex. Alex is a highly technical developer. He overloads his exam paper with raw code, just infrastructure data, massive blocks of equations, but he lacks a clear monetization strategy. He completely misses the evaluation part. Then you've got founder number two, Sam. Sam is this charismatic marketer who delivers highly persuasive narrative pitches, maybe writes a beautiful descriptive paragraph, but has zero data or metric backing assets. Sam completely misses the command word constraints. Both Alex and Sam walk away with zero funding. This explainer is a direct, no-nonsense audit of what the examiners are actually looking for so you don't end up like Alex or Sam.
So here is our tactical roadmap for today. We've got 5 key deliverables. 1. The missing marks mystery. 2. Theory, roots and conjugate pairs. 3. The method mark strategy. 4. Deconstruct, solve, and evaluate. And 5. Top 3 examiner warnings. Let's get moving.
Let's initialize Section 1, the missing marks mystery. So, we need to ask ourselves a really critical question here. Why are the stakes so high? And why is evaluating evidence and drawing conclusions so incredibly difficult for so many candidates? Let's analyze the drifting minimum viable product pitch. When you look at the official Cambridge Examiner reports, they hand you a clear market opportunity brief. The core problem students face with topic 3.9 isn't always the foundational algebra itself. It's that the assessment framework prioritizes high-level analytical depth over superficial, low-level breadth. It's all about the command words. If the paper says evaluate and you just describe, your valuation margin drops instantly. An evaluation requires you to weigh the evidence, to prove the logical architecture. A description just tells me what the math is. It's the difference between pitching a fully functional, scalable software platform and just showing an investor a nice drawing of an app. You can't just skim the surface. You literally have to prove you understand the underlying logical structure of why those roots are operating the way they do. The examiners are tracking your market risk across assessment objectives, what we call AO1, AO2, and AO3. If you get stuck down at basic data classification, your startup is going bankrupt. You need to push into elite analytical valuation.
Moving on to Section 2, Theory, Roots and Conjugate Pairs.
Okay, this is where we get into the co-op founder re-architecture debate. Let's imagine Alex and Sam are back at the tech war room, staring at a giant whiteboard, trying to merge their assets to pitch an unassailable model response paragraph. The funding clock is ticking down. The theoretical architecture of this topic doesn't just rest on memorizing a formula. It rests on proving causal relationships. You need to demonstrate the precise definitions and logical links required to prove that non-real roots exist as conjugate pairs. Alex is standing there arguing that they just need to dump textbook definitions onto the page. He wants to throw every algebraic rule about imaginary numbers at the examiner and hopes something sticks. But Sam is fighting him, saying, no, we need to build a direct analytical thesis string. We have to lock in the top band marks before our funding clock expires. And Sam is actually right about the structure, but he needs Alex's math to make it work. The examiners are looking for your ability to string these logical, structured thoughts together step by step. You have to prove why. If a plus bj is a root of a polynomial with real coefficients, then a minus bj must also be a root. You have to show the causal relationship, not just state it as a random fact.
Now, here is a massive competitive advantage revealed directly by the principal examiner reports. If you want significantly higher marks, if you want to trigger a massive valuation multiplier, you need to show cross-topic connections. This is the ultimate synergy. When you integrate your knowledge of complex numbers with, say, polynomials or quadratics, you signal to the examiner that you have a master-level grasp of the entire Cambridge syllabus infrastructure. It shows you aren't just operating in a silo, you see the whole mathematical ecosystem. This is what separates the average candidate from the unicorn-level student.
Let's look at the real-time market risk chart. How are you actually being tested? The syllabus targets 3 distinct cognitive domains, scaling up in difficulty. First, basic knowledge and understanding. That's your base valuation. Second, application. Can you actually deploy this math in a live environment? And third, the absolute highest tier, analysis. Notice how the expectations aggressively scale up. The examiner wants to see you climb this cognitive ladder in your response. If you stop at knowledge, you cap your grade.
Let's activate Section 3, the method mark strategy.
In the Cambridge 9709 market, the process is just as valuable as your final solution. If you want to systematically process complex numbers without bleeding marks, you need a standardized sequence. Think of this as your fail-safe algorithm. Step 1, identify key elements. What data points do you actually have? Step 2, apply relevant principles, like the conjugate root theorem. Step 3, execute your analysis with extremely clear working. Step 4, verify your results. And Step 5, present them in the appropriate format. Stick to this sequence, and you build a completely unassailable, high-equity answer. And speaking of presenting in an appropriate format, you have to maintain strict channel security. There are presentation conventions you must follow to the letter. Examiners demand proper headings, the absolute correct terminology, appropriate mathematical formats, and clear annotation. When you are interpreting relationships and drawing evidence-based conclusions, your layout must be flawlessly clean. If you hit a system bug mid-paragraph where your evidence links drop out, like forgetting to label your real and imaginary parts clearly, you are threatening a total valuation crash. Valuation pause. I need to freeze the presentation deck right here and look directly at you. Before we unlock this top-band paragraph architecture to scale your final grades, you need to optimize your educational asset flow. Take a second right now to subscribe to Ace the Exams at the handle @AceTheExams and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly high-yield strategy drops. Whether you are hacking exams at IGCSE, O-levels, or AS and A-levels. All right, system initialized. Back to the pitch. I want you to really let this concept on the screen sink in. Even if your final answer is wrong, method marks can save you. This is literally the most crucial piece of insider advice pulled straight from the examiner reports. Your working out is your minimum viable product. It is your safety net. Never, ever skip it.
Initiating Section 4, Deconstruct, Solve, and Evaluate.
All right, let's run a live, interactive viewer venture audit. I want you to look at this problem-solving framework. When we are aiming to hit those higher-order assessment objectives, we need a flawless pipeline. When you deconstruct the given information, break it into logical steps, solve it systematically, check if your answer is actually reasonable, and then make justified recommendations, you are doing way more than just math. You are developing elite professional analytical skills. You are conducting a rapid market scan of the problem. This is how you lock in those top-band blue-chip marks. So, let's identify the compliance liability. This slide brilliantly illustrates the difference between an average candidate, our drifting founders, and a top-scoring unicorn candidate. Average students take a purely descriptive approach. They have superficial breadth and vague, unconvincing conclusions. But the top scorers, the ones maxing out the grade valuation meter, they question assumptions. They consider different perspectives, and most importantly, they justify every single decision with hard, mathematical evidence on the page. They don't just say a conjugate pair exists. They prove exactly why the constraints of the polynomial dictate that it absolutely must exist.
So, the crucial point is knowing how to actively execute that evaluative thinking under pressure. If you have to do a comparative analysis, here is your structural optimization matrix. You must identify both similarities and differences. Use comparative connectives in your wording. Support every single comparison with mathematical evidence. That is your raw data backing up your pitch. And finally, draw a solid conclusion about relative importance. This acts like a peel structure, point, evidence, explanation, link, but specifically optimized for advanced math. That is exactly how you hit the evaluative level and secure the funding.
Finally, let's open Section 5, Top 3 Examiner Warnings.
It's time to ring the alarm bells. We are now auditing the most common pitfalls directly from the principal examiner reports. These are the bugs that will destroy your pitch. Mistake number 1. Answers are too vague. The examiner expectation is that you provide specific, contextual details. Mistake number 2.
Bad presentation. You must rigorously check your formatting and annotation. Mistake number 3. Ignoring the context. Ensure your answers are perfectly aligned with the specific parameters given in the question. To make sure you never do this in a live exam environment, I want you to install an acronym memory hack into your brain right now. Think VPC, Vague Presentation Context. Before you submit that paper, run your complex numbers answers through the VPC security check. Are you specific? Is the math formatted cleanly? Does it answer the specific context of the prompt?
And here is your final, massive, high-energy warning from the board. Examiner alert. Students consistently lose marks by not showing their working. Listen to me carefully. Failing to show your working is the absolute fastest way to crash your grade valuation down to 0. It doesn't matter if you are a genius and can do the complex polynomial division in your head. Put it on the paper. The paper is your pitch deck. If the data isn't in the deck, the investors, the examiners, cannot give you the marks.
So Series A funding is completed. Our founders, Alex and Sam, finally engineered their response paragraph correctly, and we just watched their grade valuation meter peak at the maximum $1 million A-star score. I'll leave you with this final, provocative thought. Now that you have the exact examiner's blueprint, how will you engineer your next complex numbers response to guarantee those maximum method marks? Remember the 3 universal rules: decode the question, budget your time, and run your final quality review checklist. Don't just do the math. Play the game exactly how the examiners want it played. If you are ready to scale your grades, I need you to subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams. Click that notification bell for our weekly grade masterclasses. And right now, drop a comment below sharing exactly which Cambridge subject and level, IGCSE, O, AS, or A-level, you are preparing to conquer next. Thanks for stepping into the boardroom for this explainer, and keep optimizing.